welcome to Modern Vegan Family. I'm Lisa Chell and you are in Chell's Kitchen, where today we are going to be making a meatless mushroom stroganoff, or as my son calls it, instead of a beef stroganoff, we're going to make a Meef stroganoff, meatless and mushroom. So I'm dedicating this video specifically to my friend Fran in Hinton, Alberta, who requested that I show a good beef stroganoff replacement that's vegan. And so this is it, and it's for you, Fran. So what I've done, I'm using a, what do you call this, a wok today. I'm using a wok, and but you can use any saute pan or pan. I'm doing this because it's a little bit easier to mix the mushrooms and it's easier for you to see. So I've already got about a tablespoon of coconut oil heating up in the wok. And I have, we're going to start with one large onion that has been diced, and we're going to add it to the wok and start to saute that a bit. So I've kept it a relatively small dice. I'm going to start sauteing that, and as that's sauteing, we're going to press in a clove of garlic to saute with the onion. And get that working around there together. Just for a couple minutes until the onions are nice and glassy, starting to maybe caramelize a little bit. While that's sauteing, I'm going to show you here, I have 3 types of mushrooms. They came out to about 750 grams, so about a pound and a half. And today I've chopped up 2 organic portobello mushrooms. There are some organic brown cremini mushrooms in here, as well as some organic shiitake mushrooms. So I used about equal amounts of 3 different types of mushrooms. The portobellos and shiitakes kind of have a thicker, meatier consistency, and of course I love brown creminis as well. It always depends on what's available. I had to get the shiitakes in a neighboring town that's about an hour away, so always what's available to you. So the onions are sauteing nicely and getting nice and clear, so I am going to add my sliced mushrooms. And mix them around in the wok. Now mushrooms take a little while before they start to juice off and get some juice at the bottom to cook in, so we're just going to let that cook for a few minutes and keep stirring it around until the mushrooms get juicy, and then we're going to let that juice simmer off so the mushrooms start to get browned, a little bit browned on the outside. So we have to let that juice all simmer and boil off. So that's going to take a couple minutes. Just keep stirring it around until you get to that point where the mushrooms are starting to fry a little bit in that oil that's in the pan and getting a little brown. And then we're going to go to the rest of the ingredients, one which is going to really surprise you. Sometimes when I have a big pan of mushrooms like this, to get them to start juicing off, I'm going to add just a little tiny bit of water. You can hear them really start to bubble. And that seems to provide just enough of the right environment to get the mushrooms to really start cooking and getting juicy. So we've had the mushrooms sauteing now for, I don't know, close to 5 minutes. You can see they've shrunk down quite a bit. The juice has gone off, they're quite brown, and now we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. So we're going to add about a ½ teaspoon of good quality salt. You don't want to start off with too much, just because you can't take the saltiness out if you overdo it. Grind in a little bit of fresh pepper. 1 tablespoon of liquid aminos, so I like to use Bragg's liquid aminos. or you could use soy sauce as well. It's about 1/4 teaspoon of basil, dried basil, and I'm just going to press that in. Mix that around a bit. Now, this is the secret ingredient. Instead of using sour cream or a vegan sour cream, which are very processed type foods, this is what I have discovered makes the best version in something like a stroganoff or a soup. I've opened 1 can of organic coconut milk. You can see I've whisked it around a little bit so it's all mixed together. And I put in that can of coconut milk. So there's the creamy part. I'm going to mix that around. And now to sour it a little bit, we're going to use 1 to 2 tablespoons of a raw apple cider vinegar. We'll start off with, whoops, a little bit mix in there, a little spill. 1 tablespoon, and then we're going to take a taste and see if that's enough. If we wanted a little bit more sour, we put in another tablespoon. And then, of course, always kind of giving it a taste and adjusting the salt and pepper accordingly. I'm going to take a little taste. I think it needs a little tiny bit more sourness, so just maybe another teaspoon. And then at the end, I like to put in parsley. I've always liked parsley in a stroganoff. That's always going to depend on you, what you like. So maybe about a tablespoon of parsley. I'm a bit of a bigger fan, so I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of parsley. Again, it's the wonderful thing about cooking is you don't always have to follow a recipe exactly. You make things to your taste. So I always look at a recipe as a suggestion, right? Not like the yellow light when you're driving. People think of that as a suggestion, but recipes really are a lot about the ingredients being a suggestion and then you tailoring it to your own taste. So one more time, I think I'm gonna use this tablespoon because I'm making them all dirty. Take one little taste with the mushrooms. I'm going to turn the heat down a bit. I'm going to bring a mushroom into this one, see how it tastes. You know, the shiitake and the portobello mushrooms are nice and chewy, so they make a great flavor. So again, it's about where I like it to be. If you like to have a little bit more sour or a little bit more salty, just add a little bit, mix it around, taste, and adjust accordingly. So what we're going to do with this, so we are going to put this stroganoff. I didn't have any stroganoff noodles, so I have rotini noodles. We're going to put this beautiful mushroom stroganoff right on top of the noodles. Like that. A little bit of sauce. Spread that around. Of course, to me, stroganoff always tastes beautiful with a little bit of steamed asparagus. And if you would like to have it even a little kind of meatier, so to speak, meefier, you might want to check one of my other videos where I made tofu croutons in a surprise sauce. And I find the surprise sauce gives it a little bit of that meefy flavor in a beefless or meatless dish. So if you want a little bit of extra protein and a little bit more chew, kind of like a traditional one, you can top it with a few of these tofu croutons in surprise sauce, and you have a beautiful dish for dinner. It's a lovely stroganoff. Really hope you love this idea and make it your own. So that one was for you, Fran. Please come back to Modern Vegan Family, subscribe to the channel, putting up more videos all the time. Peace, love, and plants.